Hi, I'm Georgie and this is my mum Sarah. We're two multi-creatives based in rural Victoria, Australia. We have an atelier-ceramics studio, Hope & Co, in a mid-century renovated garage. We make, paint, write and capture, and now we're taking you on our creative trails.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Our apologies for our short hiatus. We've been back in lockdown in Victoria and it has delayed a number of our work projects, including our YouTube videos. So today, with no further ado, we're going to show you how to make a slab mug at home.
Although we will be showing you how to roll your clay by hand, we want to also be transparent about how we always roll out our own pieces for slab work. We are very lucky to have a Bailey slab roller that streamlines the whole process for us, but for the purposes of this video, we will demonstrate how we do this with a rolling pin and guide sticks.
Okay, so the clay we're using today is a Keen's White Raku clay. Really versatile, it's what I learnt to make ceramics on, and it is available in Australia. I'm not quite sure what your clays would be overseas, but it's a really very flexible firing clay. It can fire from between 1,000 and 1,300 degrees. So that broad range of firing means that it's a really robust clay, easy to use and easy to learn on. So I'm going to show you something that seems so straightforward that you'll wonder why, but when I first went to my first pottery class, I had no idea even what to do with a clay bag and I felt like a real idiot. So the clay comes in a really thick plastic bag to keep all the air out of it, keep it moist, and you'll need a pair of scissors. So now I've cut the bag open, all you need to do is roll the bag over at the side and skin it virtually. This is a big lump of clay, it weighs about 12 kilos. So from this point on we need to make it into more manageable sizes. So for the sake of this demonstration I'm going to show you what we have in terms of cutting the clay to make it a little bit easier for us to put it through our slab roller. Now each step of the way I'm going to show you a simpler way that you can do it at home. You don't need the tools that we have, but I do want to show you how we prepare our own. We use a metal framed harp, which is a very strong and very robust tool. It has a wire that goes between two rings, and each of these rings can be adjusted by squeezing the harp frame in and adjusting the rings upwards or down, depending on what you're doing. It's really hard to do. Okay. So the alternative is a very cheap device, a potter's wire, which is very common in all studios. They're really cheap. You can get them from a potter's supply store or even a $2 store that actually sells some pottery or art supplies. I'm going to show you how to do the same thing as the harp, but with the small wire. Okay, so we've got our little wire. What we're going to do is create a shorter wire depending on the size of your clay. So we're going to wind the wire in our hands to make a shorter wire. Or we're going to set the block of clay down and pull very gently through the clay. A little trick, always remove the clay while it's wet from the wire and pop it back on the block. Right, so now we have our piece of clay, and as I explained, not everyone, and in fact very few people, will have a slab roller. So I'm going to show you how to do this at home with very simple tools. From the kitchen, you'll need your rolling pin, and it really helps if you've got the handles that move around. It makes it for easier rolling. You'll also need 2 guide sticks. We're going to use these so when we roll the clay out, the clay is rolled to the correct height and it's even. It's always easier if you have a flatter piece of clay to start with, and if you're starting with a block of clay, I like to compress the clay with the heel of my hand until it's about so thick. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is roll out your clay. So you take your rolling pin and roll. And the best thing you can do to make sure that your clay is rolled out in a balanced manner is to turn it around, turn it over, and then roll again. Now, for the purposes of this particular exercise, I'm going to use my big roller because I do want to illustrate to you why the guides are necessary. So if you make a few, or you're working from home and making quite a few cups, you may want to buy or invest in a bigger roller from a catering supplier. And Georgie broke this one, so the handle comes off. It's George. But yes, it's still functioning. And it's really good to illustrate why we need the guides. You can see that the guides are here, either side of the clay, and I'm going to roll. And as you can see, the guides stop you from applying pressure in the wrong spot so that you have an uneven slab. Again, very gently. Now, the next step is it's really important to compress the clay so that the clay particles are evenly distributed, and the easiest way to do this is use one of your ribs. Now, I did show you how to use a credit card instead of a more expensive tool in our How We Make Ceramics and How to Make a Bowl video. So if you haven't seen that, pop across to that and I'll explain a little bit more. As you can see, the difference between the two clays, you can see that the texture of the clay is nowhere near as smooth as once you've compressed it. Now I'm just going to show you with the credit card as well. The same thing happens, although I do find that you get a line from the edge of the credit card sometimes, so you have to be a bit more gentle. And again, we're going to very gently pick up the clay. This clay has a memory, doesn't like being handled too much. And do it in the alternative direction. Okay, so this is our next piece of clay, and you can see that it's just a little bit more firm when we move it. It's not too malleable, so it should set up a little bit more easily. There are a whole range of different things that you can use as templates for mugs and sizes and shapes. This is a shape that we use for a candle vessel, and it's a sticker from some probiotic supplements. You can go to a cake supplier's or a $2 shop and get some of these boards that are used for food. They're terrific, and I use them often because they've got a plastic coating. The one thing about clay, and today we're going to use just a piece of paper for your benefit, but you can use paper, you can use cardboard, but if it absorbs water, they really don't last very long. So today, to make it really simple for you, all we've done is halve an A4 piece of paper and cut it down the middle. So it measures 29.7 centimetres by 11 centimetres. And this is what we'll use as the mug. So if this is forming the mug, we need a base. And I've used an MDF circle that I've purchased from Bunnings. They have an MDF section and with a whole lot of craft supplies. Now Bunnings in Australia is a major hardware chain, so wherever you are in the world, your major hardware chain will probably supply you with similar things. 9 centimetres is a really good size base, and there are two schools of thought. You can either put your slab mug on top of it, or you can put it on the outside of it. For the purpose of today, I would like to have quite a wide mug that I can put my hands around. We're going to be placing the slab around. So we're ready to start cutting our slab mug out. We've got our piece for the mug, we've got our piece for the base. You can use a range of different tools, a needle tool or a sharp potter's tool, knife, whatever will be fine. That is our slip, and this is a bit like glue. We're going to be joining the pieces with this. So scoring and slipping is really important, and joins are really important. Otherwise, once they go into the kiln, the pieces will crack open. You'll need a scoring tool or a tooth tool, or to be honest, a toothbrush works just as well. So there are a couple of ways of creating the seamless seam, and I've been shown a couple of ways with a rolling pin, but I personally love this one. It provides a sharp edge. Now what I've done is move this to the edge of the workspace and place a ruler. What we want to do is not cut off any of the length of the mug slab, but we want to create a 45-degree angle. And apologies, but I am going to use a longer knife that wasn't in the original. Wasn't in the original list. It's just a bit easier. So we want to create an angle, and you can see that I have a perfect angle there that I will then quickly score. And then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing on the other side. Now it's really important to flip it because you can't have two on the same side, otherwise they won't join up. So again, pull it to the edge, put your ruler in place. It's about a centimetre. And sometimes when the clay goes over the edge like that, just snip it off.
Now from here, the mug still needs to dry, go through its first bisque firing, and then be glazed and fired one more time again. So if you want to see the end result of this mug, make sure to follow us on Instagram @_hopeandco_, where we will post updates. If you enjoyed this tutorial, let us know in the comments down below. Give this video a big like, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you are first in the know when we upload a new episode. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you again soon. Bye.